Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for Season 2 in League One with Forest Green Rovers, and now are some interesting developments happening at the club. Hello and welcome back to part 22 of our Zero to Hero series with Forest Green Rovers, where today we are going to be playing our first two games in the league, which are against Bristol Rovers and I believe Birmingham. Actually, scratch all of that. Birmingham's actually the Carabao Cup, but we are going to play it nonetheless because they are in the same league as us, and I want to get a feel for how this team is going to do this season. I am a little bit worried about it. But ignoring all of that, of course, and just turning our view to today and the developments I said were happening at the club, which we saw a little bit at the end of yesterday's episode. We have got apparently a takeover in place. It is now, looks like it's actually happening. Before it was a rumour. We haven't had any more news about it. But if you go to the club vision page, it does say there is a board alert and a takeover in progress. And due to club being in a takeover process, we've altered the 5-year plan. It looks literally identical to me as far as I can see. And it says they haven't set any long-term targets, but I mean, they clearly have. So I'm not sure what that's all about. We're not under any sort of transfer embargo or anything at the moment. So we kind of now just wait and see what happens. We're just going to go and play football. We're going to let all of that stuff sort itself out while we just sort ourselves out on the pitch. This is the team that's going to be facing Bristol today. It's going to be Setford in goal. That's due to an injury to Sol Bryan, who's just about back for it and should be back for the Birmingham match, but at the moment we can't really start him. We've then got Shablas over on the left. We've got Pickles, Fagan Walcott and Daly Campbell filling out the rest of our back four. Nightingale and Suckdy in midfield, Kabaya on the left, Konechny through the middle, McDonald on the right and Robertson up front. So essentially it's an identical team to last season, as well as that injury, as we mentioned, to Sol Bryan. Daniel Jones is currently out, so we can't really at the moment warrant playing with two strikers. And Joe Hay, one of our new signings, one of our two new signings, is unavailable and injured as well. So we're just playing more or less with the same team, and we can kind of see straight away we are very, very stretched on depth. We're going to need to get some loans in. We're not going to be able to do a lot more in terms of transfers because we just don't have the money in the club unless we get a takeover and they decide to plough a couple of £1 million in and give us a really nice transfer budget to play with for the rest of the window. That would be lovely. But unless they do that, we're kind of relying on maybe getting in some loans and just playing with the team we did last season and hoping that if they're all together for a whole season, rather than coming in dribs and drabs like they did last year, then maybe we can do just a tiny bit better than that third place finish. Maybe we can finish first or second and in those automatic promotion spots. And I think today's match against Bristol might be a pretty decent indication of how this season's going to go as well. I can't really remember how we did against them last season, but I do remember that they did fairly well. So it'll be interesting to see here. We are going to get the first highlight of the game. It's Pickles out wide to new boy Shablas. I'm going to struggle to say his name because I want to call him something different every time I see him. He's played that one into Kabaya, who's through into the box. Can he cross it? He can't. He has a shot himself, but Konechny is there to just grab the rebound. A nice little header past the goalkeeper who did make that original save as we saw, but Konechny first to react and puts us 1-0 ahead after 6 minutes here at Forest Green Rovers. It's a really good run from Kabaya, taking on his man. Probably should have squared that one the first time and not taken on the shot himself. But it has all worked out in the end. Konechny gets himself on the score sheet on the first day. He was the first player to score on the first day of the season, last season as well, on his debut. And we're kind of interested as well to see how Konechny does this season. I'm kind of thinking back to Vangelis, obviously our record signing and our record transfer fee received, who didn't struggle in his first season. He did all right, much like Konechny, but he was doing a lot better in his second season. And Konechny is through on goal here again. That time he draws his shot wide, which is a bit unfortunate because he could have buried that one. And we could be 2-0 up, but it wasn't to be. But hopefully Konechny is now used to English football and a bit more ready to play at this sort of level when he goes on to have a really good season. We looked at it in yesterday's episode as well. We have got another formation we're training that allows us to play with 2 up top. We have got a number of players like Konechny who can play up there as well if we need him to. We know he is good for a goal or two, our second highest goal scorer behind Paul Robertson last season. So definitely has the ability to go and score those goals like he has today, should we need him to. We're just going to make a couple of substitutions here. Kabaya's going to come off. We'll bring on Bigotto over on that side. I would like to send him out on loan as well, but really that means having some players that we can bring in. We'll also bring Lewis Payne on for Daly Campbell over at right back. Everyone else is doing absolutely fine at the moment, so we're just going to leave that as it is and not rock the boat too much. I wouldn't say we're really controlling the game here at the moment. I mean, possession-wise, Bristol, definitely the team on top. But we are the ones with the goal. We'll just see this highlight before we make the substitution. Sukti with a free kick, looking for anybody in the box, and finds absolutely no one. McDonald is going to scramble back to get hold of that ball as it is headed away by the Bristol City defender. And now we're just very slowly looking for an opening. Payne into Robertson. Robertson does get ahead of his defender and does get his head to the ball. Unfortunately, doesn't direct it into the back of the net, but it was a really well worked cross there, I think. And now we're just looking a little bit tired. We'll make some substitutions. Nightingale can come off. Logan Briggs can come on there. That's all we've got in terms of midfielders at the moment, which is a little bit of a concern with Daniel Jones. I couldn't remember his name then. Daniel Jones out injured. That's kind of it. Shabalaz needs to come off so Steve Sedon can come on. And then we really would like to train Sukti as well, but we're not going to be able to here. I think Oliver Iro is just going to come on for Paul Robertson up front as we head into the last 5 minutes or so of this tie. Ball is passed back to Pickles there, and Nightingale with a lovely ball. I do love his passing. I don't know if it's just the match engine, but it always looks absolutely spectacular. Matt Donald here holding on to the ball. Back to Nightingale. Plays a lovely 1-2 with Matt Donald now, who's into the area. That shot lets down that entire move, because before then it looked really decent. Then McDonald had the shot, and all of a sudden it did look very League One. Bristol still trying to find their way through in this tie, looking for an equaliser in the last few minutes. They are through on goal, and it is a lovely goal. Setford there, not going to keep a clean sheet on his debut. Would Sol Bryan have saved that? Possibly from that range, very possibly. Setford unable to do so, and Bristol going to score. I think that's, looking at our match stats, not for this match, but as the last season in general, we really don't concede very many goals from open play and from distance. So that is a kind of one-off. Is that kind of an indication maybe of how we're going to do this season? No, we very much struggled there for possession. Oh, benches where you were meant to come in, just go away. All these players that were meant to come in this season and ended up going to other teams, and now they're just going to keep showing up on my scouting reports until eventually my scout realised they aren't turning up. We have got a potential transfer coming in as well. Jack Gray from West Ham as a bit of depth at centre-back. We wouldn't have to pay any of his wages either, so it'd be really nice to get that one through. We are just going to pop straight over, though, to that match against Birmingham. It's happening out on Wednesday, so in 3 days' time. I doubt a lot will have happened by then, but maybe Jack Gray will have arrived.